All right, guys, here we are to talk about Episode 3, Season 2 of The Twilight Zone, the 1959 edition, as it appears on Netflix.
I think we're up to 1960 now.
Well, it's a 1959 edition of
Yeah.
Twilight Zone, not to be confused with like the 2004 edition.
I wish I had seen any of that.
You could.
I hadn't.
I said you could.
I don't.
Could. Regardless.
This episode was a real nail biter.
I thought this was the worst episode I've ever seen.
Pretty much.
Pretty much almost the worst episode of any show I've
It's
ever
the worst
seen.
thing I've ever seen of anything.
Where I was like, there's
Okay.
nothing, there's no like,
Well, yeah.
there's nothing happening in this show. I'm sure at the time, this, like, how boring this episode would have been okay based on, like, visual effects. You'd be like, oh my god, he's duped in the mirror. Oh, and, like, they spin the mirror and, like, that
mirror-
kind of worked.
The mirror's not following him. Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, all right.
It was inspiring on a certain level. I like the idea of someone like changing their life and looking back and all that stuff.
Sure.
But any semblance of like paranormalness or interestingness or any of that stuff was all sort of lost. Like this didn't need to be a Twilight Zone episode. It lacked like any of the pillars, right? There was no real like there might be a moral in that like it's never too late to change your shit and maybe you'll get lucky and the mob boss won't kill you or something. I was like, why is this? I don't know.
Nah,
Fuck. It was not.
it's a classic, like, man and mouse all in one. He's flipping back and forth between the two. And
yeah, but they didn't do.
his performance was fine, I thought.
Yeah. I sometimes hesitate to say that because I feel like you'll be like, it sucked or something.
It
like that.
wasn't his fault.
But I liked
Like
his,
it's what's on the paper of the script
Yeah.
was bad,
Right.
and it's very hard to pull out of the fire because you didn't have like crazy visuals. Like
No.
again, you had a couple of techniques that at the time I'm sure would be very impressive. You're like, oh, look at this, but like the visuals didn't carry it. It wasn't like when you watch a movie and it's like the CG was amazing, the plot was shitty, but it was such a visual feast. It wasn't really that.
Right. You're like, well, it was just a delivery mechanism for like, oh, he's in this mirror too. Oh my god.
And his acting was while it was good,
Yeah.
he can only give you what's on the page,
No,
and the page wasn't that interesting.
I liked his ability to kind of be both people, and he carried himself differently.
Sure,
but
no,
that's-
he did.
That's acting. You're supposed
As
to
a
do that,
badass,
right?
he was
But,
he was a different person.
Himself in the mirror, like and like I always say that, and then it's like, well, an actor should be able to, to act, I guess.
But how
then
many
I go,
actors do we hate? You can't do things.
No, and that's why I always try to point it out. Is like, he was actually able to, because part of my brain kind of forgot that it was the same guy at certain points, just kind of let myself drift out of that or whatever, which I think is a sign they did like a good thing. But no, there was no not a strong moral, not a big mind fuck, not like this idea that you could then take with you and like, what if I had that power? Like, there's really nothing here. I hate any Twilight Zone where like at the end the person's just like back to normal life or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I like shit where it's like I'm on the moon though, and something's like fucked up or something, or like I'm a fly.
I'm in a zoo.
Right, some weird fuck thing at the end, or like you have this power, or the guy dies, like something happens, or you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And this was just like, and he literally says, I'm gonna get a job, maybe get some friends. I'm like, oh great, that's fucking. Now I can walk around.
If that's
right,
your
and think about-
celebration ending, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
No, this episode very much is the definition of it is what it is, where nothing
what it
happened, it's
is.
cut and dry. I didn't like it. I actually said it was the least favorite episode of any show ever.
I can't think of a worse Twilight Zone that
There's not one
that
worse
we've
than this.
watched.
Even if you like the worst, like in the running of the worst, would be like the gambling one. But at least that one's like so ridiculous. It's something to talk about.
That was funny.
This one you can't even make fun of it. It's just bad. It's just plain. It's generic.
And they've even been other like one-man shows like Time Enough at Last or something where it's
And that one's
mostly
great.
one character that are great. No, I can't think of another another shittier one.
I think that's all there is to say about this episode.
No,
is
like,
it's not good.
I don't know if like at this time this was more relevant because he's even like a shitty criminal. There's nothing even to like pull into like there's nothing for me to say like, well, at this time you see a lot of middle-aged men were taken in by crime gangs and their lives were wasted or something like.
I don't think
there's
any more than
nothing here.
now.
No, and there's nothing, and there's maybe this as a movie where you have time to flash back to those things where you had the moments to change and you can work in this other personality and have a whole thing about it.
I wouldn't
But,
even
like,
want to see that movie.
Fuck. Ugh.
No.
Ugh.
All right, guys, that's this episode of Twilight Zone. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.